Good afternoon and welcome, traders. Let's get into the post-Thanksgiving Black Friday trading session. Short trading session today on Friday, the 24th. We are now just a month away from Christmas Eve, so year end starts chewing up quickly for us, but we're excited with the direction we're going and love where our account is. So let's get into the gains we had. Excuse me. On a short session today, pardon me. Short session today, but we still managed some winners, took in $1,110 today. Let's get into the markets quickly, and then let's look at the account, see where we made those gains. If we're looking at the accounts here, S&P ran up just a mere $2.72, pretty much a nothing day on really light volume. SPY here up $28, which was not even registrable on the accounts. All right, so if we're looking at the weekly, we still see a nice pop. So this week was a good pop up. MACD, RSI continue to improve as we move higher. We are not really nearing over extended levels on the weekly. If we look at the daily chart, you can see MACD has been rolling over a bit, but that has not stopped the markets from inching their way higher. And RSI has just remained in overbought territory now since the 14th. So we are now over, really 2 weeks into overbought territory, and we remain above the 3 ATR level. So markets really overbought on the short term on SPY, but long term, they still look pretty good. I think everybody wants a pullback, but nobody's getting it. And the market's just kind of chugging sideways a bit here on the SPYs. Qs, pretty much the exact same story. Doesn't really need to get into this one. Exact same story, moving sideways, overbought on the daily chart. RSI above the 3 ATR. We remain overbought there. If we look at the IWM now, small caps a little different for the most part, but you've got still have the weekly moving up, which looks pretty good. And the daily, so MACD tipping over, but RSI moving up, but nothing overbought yet. So you're starting to get into really what looks a bit like an ascending wedge here. If we take a look at this, which could be a very bullish opportunity if we can break above this, really this 179 level where we closed at on Friday. So if we get any movement above that on IWM, I think that'll be a positive piece. Put call ratio, I think you can ignore part of this piece there. I don't know if this is exactly right. But put call fell on the day. I don't think it's down 90%. So I think the reading is wrong here. We're looking at this on the weekend. VIX fell also to the new lowest level VIX has been at. So volatility officially dead right now, which is the good opportunity time if you want to start to consider putting on some long VIX type of trades if you think we are overdone. The dollar fell on the session again yesterday. Rates moved up a bit, so rates popped up on the 10-year. So we got the 10-year popping up a bit, which for TLT doesn't bode so well. So it started to pull back again. I don't think there's anything to really get too excited about, but weekly looks good on TLT. But the daily really starting to tip over a bit here. I think it's made a nice even run higher, pulling back here a bit. I think it's going to give you another chance to get into it. Let's look at the futures quickly, and I really want to look at bonds first. So we just talked about this on TLT, where we've kind of identified this rising wedge pattern here, but maybe this action on Friday could be a little bit bearish of an action. MACD has been trying to roll over in the face of this moving higher. And as you're moving slightly higher here, RSI is not moving higher. It is not setting new highs, which means maybe the momentum has run out of bonds short term. Okay, longer term, if we look at the weekly chart here, I still think it looks fairly bullish here. Nothing wrong with the pullback here, but again, bonds, I think you got to be a little careful. If we look at the 10-year as well, breaking to this downside piece here of this ascending wedge, it can be a bit of a bearish looking signal here We'll keep an eye on this, but with MACD rolling over, RSI may be heading down to the 50 and lower. Definitely something to watch on the daily. Do we get a decent pullback on bonds? We'll see what happens there. And on oil, just another day of selling on Friday, and even into a little bit after the session. But for the most part, oil just bouncing around in this area. It's been really a nothing week on oil. And if we really zoom in on the weeklies here, the last 2 weeks, pretty indecisive weeks. We had 3 strong down weeks, and then just a moderate down week and another moderate down week. So, I mean, they have been down weeks. Nothing says that these aren't down weeks. However, I think you're maybe trying to find some sort of a base in here. Let's see. MACD has been trying to move higher on the daily. RSI keeps bouncing off of this 30 level down here, but even on these moves down, we'll see if RSI can hang in there a bit. I still like oil. I still like it above, this 72, 75-ish range. I think in here it's all good still. We'll continue to play oil. Gold had a good move up Friday, had a good week. So 2 good session weeks in a row, taking us right to this downtrend line that we have going on here. And that's where we ended the day on Friday. So we tried to break through it twice on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We got right back to it and weren't able to move it. But RSI, MACD continue to climb on the daily. So positive looking daily moves up on gold. And, the weekly is still a good move off of its base, right in the middle, just over the 21 EMA. If we take a quick look at where we are on volatility, oil volatility did pop up the last 2 days. So good oil volatility overall. And then if we look at gold, though, gold volatility has just been dropping pretty steadily here. The weekly's been down, MACD, RSI falling, and the daily has been dropping a bit. We did get a little bit of a spike and then right back down. So gold volatility pretty low. I did put a new gold trade on, even in this low volatility, because I think you still have to be able to generate income on underlyings that you like. But what I really like is when I'm looking at the weekly here, okay, look where we are in relation to these to the Bollinger Bands. Number one, we're dead center. And look where we are in the 3 ATR bands. We're dead center on it. We're hovering right around the 21. I think that's a great space to be in. And I think, and that's on gold volatility. So I think we're not too low. We're not too high. We're in a decent range on gold volatility. And if we were to play gold itself, hey, you're pretty much in the middle of these Bollinger Bands and the 3 ATRs as well. So right just over the 21 EMA. And I think gold's ready for another move higher. But I think with the markets moving higher right now, and markets look strong. And with the markets looking strong, why are you buying gold? So I'm not saying it's not correlated or anything else, but why buy gold when the markets are on fire? So we'll keep taking a look at those things. If we look at lean hog, continuing to drop here. If we look at copper, I like it here. It's been moving up, had a pretty good down day Thursday, and then a little bit of a recovery here on Friday. But MACD is tipping over. I just like where we are on copper. We got a 112 trade that's going to come off in copper pretty soon. If we're taking a look at live cattle, had a pretty big down day on Friday, so pretty big red candle, and that's taking us down to the bottom or maybe even below this downtrend channel. Something to keep an eye on with that. Is it a time to put a 112 trade down? Well, not right now. You got to wait and see if we get any kind of a bounce. We do have strangles on here because volatility was high, and volatility is opening up as the Bollinger Bands continue to open up on the weekly and the daily. So decent volatility. We'll keep an eye on this one. RSI, though, is into oversold territory with this big down day. And that's been a bit of a pattern here. It's like drifts up and then wham, and then drifts up and then wham, and then drifts up and then wham. So you've been getting smoked to the downside on some pretty big down days, here we'll see what happens if this continues in live cattle. All right, taking a quick look at the sectors from Friday, and I want to keep this rolling today. Leading sector was biotech, that was moving up on the sessions. Pharma also moving up on the session. Those were the two big winners, nearly about 1.18 and 0.9%. The losing sectors, communications, a bit of a pullback in communication, and tech, a little bit of a pullback. And we saw that in the Qs earlier with just a small, slight pullback. However, look at tech. This has really been a strong moving sector. If we can't, no matter how you look at it, weekly, daily, it's just been overdone, but it looks super strong. I would say any kind of a pullback and then a bounce would be good for tech. And then if we look at financials, this has also been on a tear higher. So when financials and tech really leading the way, and communications have been doing really well, it's pretty strong that we're getting a move. Even healthcare has had a decent move the last couple of weeks, still trying to break out of this downtrend. And I think we can draw a bit of a downtrend line here. And now you start to see healthcare breaking out. So you have all of the major sectors really on their horse to the upside, with the exception of energy, which is just getting beat up a bit because of oil. However, it's been on a little bit of a sneaky gain here the last couple sessions or so, sideways. Last 2 weeks. We'll see. Are we done with the downtrend on tech or on energy? But when you've got tech rocking and rolling like it has been, financials rocking and rolling like they have been, and then again, communications, even the regional banks had been on a decent move higher, but right now they're stopping their participation. And then lastly here, just taking a look at some of the big names. Apple down fractionally on Friday, but still having a pretty good week overall. Microsoft down fractionally on Friday, but having another good week. So really, Microsoft just been on a absolute rip higher on there. Amazon, pretty much just a sideways, nothing day. You just be careful of MACD starting to roll over. So is momentum starting to come out of these names? Well, momentum has been coming out, but we haven't seen much of a pullback. I mean, if you look at the MACD, every MACD daily here, and you guys can go back and replay this, but every MACD for the most part has been rolling over, with the exception of Google, which is kind of sideways to rolling over as it filled its earnings gap and tried to move higher. Here, NVIDIA, a couple days sell-off after earnings. Definitely MACD and RSI heading lower. How much lower can NVIDIA go? Let's see. Love to see a really nice pullback in this, and then a chance to get long. And then Tesla, I don't know about Tesla in here. It's still in this weekly downtrending channel. It is near the tops of this channel. Okay. But it just can't seem to get the same momentum going. RSI is falling a bit here, and MACD is turning over a bit here. But on the weekly, kind of the opposite is happening. So just a good sideways trend. I think it's a really great strangle opportunity on Tesla. So I think Tesla's a good strangle opportunity. A lot of yin and yang going on. Netflix type of same thing. Look how overbought this RSI is. This has just had a ridiculous move to the upside, way over the 3 ATR, hasn't stopped at all on this, relentlessly moving higher. I think, I think Netflix is something to keep an eye on of becoming really overbought here with a pullback potentially in the works. All right, so there's where we are on the charts. Let's just take a quick look here at our accounts. Here's our main trading account in the Income Navigator service. 217 Delta. This was slightly after the bell. It was busy yesterday, so these may hopefully be right. But 217 after the bell. Delta 0.07%, perfectly delta neutral. Love where we are. Market can go up, down, doesn't really matter. I love where our delta is. Theta's really, really good, 0.44% on theta. We lost a bit on NetLick yesterday. So while we were at new all-time highs, just 2 days ago, we pulled back just fractionally on that, mostly all due to oil. Dropping BP usage, BP usage did jump up a bit, but we have been adding a little bit of BIL, the Treasury, 0 to 3 month Treasury ETF. I added some here on Thursday. I added some more here on Friday. And then we closed the day yesterday with another $1,110 winner on a strangle. We'll cover that in just a second. Taking our week up to 14.15. Again, short week. We didn't do a whole lot of trading for the week. We just let our theta do its thing, and we booked another $1,400 for the week, taking our gains on the month up to $22,488. So we are in really good shape. We are up well over, well, not well over, but we are up over 7% for the month in realized gains. And then we're up about 1.5% on the net lick. Most of that is somewhat of a pullback on oil. But again, I'm all good because we are just sitting right off of new all-time highs. I added $10,000 worth of BIL on Thursday. I added another $18,000 on Friday. The reason I did that was I took my margin to $32,000 in margin use on BIL. So my total BIL is pretty significant right now. I'm sitting at $128,000 worth of BIL. So I'm at $128,000. In fact, let's just put that in there. So I'm at $128,000 worth of BIL overall. We put 100,000 back on here, added 10, added 18, only $32,000 in margin. Perfectly fine, letting it use the free cash and free margin that we have in the account. So if we can sit there on it at $128,000 worth of BIL, that is going to give us somewhere in the neighborhood of $530 right now in distributions in a couple days. So about a week or so, we'll get $500 some bucks, which is perfectly fine. Okay, who doesn't want $500 for free? Okay, it's using margin against my cash. Okay, and you're sitting there on something backed by the U.S. government that doesn't really go down. Okay, at least not at this point in time. So you get a chance to just use that free cash, use some margin on that free cash. $32,000 worth of margin to make over $500 a month. It's going to give me about 1.6% a month return just on the BIL alone. Okay, so that'll help our account overall. Let's take a look at what we closed yesterday. We did close this GC Strangle. We put this thing on 11.6. We did it for $7.50. We took it off for a 50% winner yesterday automatically. $1,110. We were only in this trade 18 days, and that was a 11.1% return on the margin that we used. So not bad, generating 11.1% in 18 days. Okay, which gives us roughly a 225% annualized return. Okay, I'm not going to advertise that on YouTube like others would. Okay, but it's pretty doggone good. So I think 11% in 18 days, wouldn't you? You made a nice $1,110 on gold here. So we put another one back on. So that's where we are on those accounts. The small account here, just sitting right around all-time highs. Didn't close anything this week, but we're up 669 for the month, 4.37% on the small account. Totally fine. You're making over 4% a month on that small account. So I think that's all in good shape for us here. And then lastly, on the IRA, we actually closed another gold strangle here for 740. So making us 3230 for the week, okay, which takes us over almost $7,000 on the month, which is 2.89. Our goal in IRAs is only 1.5% a month. We managed 2.9% this month. So it's fantastic. Overall, on the account, we're up just about 1% in net lick, but we're sitting at all-time highs. In fact, yesterday was another all-time high in this account. So IRA, all-time high. We've generated realized gains of almost 3% this month, almost twice what we normally look for in the account. So we manage all three of these accounts for you in in the Income Navigator service. So if you're interested in seeing what we do, come and join us. Come and see what we're doing there. Get the Black Friday sale going on in that account, and gives you a chance to see what we do, to learn what we're doing, to learn from us, and see what's going on. So I encourage anyone to join in while the opportunity lasts here, to get involved with what we're doing. And in fact, we'll share it with you here for a second. And let's see. Okay, if you want to jump in on the Black Friday sale here, this is actually, even though it says Black Friday sale, we're going to run this till the end of the month. So you've got 5 more days to get in. If you use the code 40OFF, 40 off, and you go to the MrTopTick.com, go to Income Navigator Service, enter code 40 off, take 40% off the first month. Okay, worth of trades here. We're averaging $10,000 to $20,000 a month on this particular portfolio. We're also averaging on the small portfolio. You're averaging somewhere around $400 to $500 a month. Okay. Imagine taking just a little bit of those gains, investing it in your education so you can learn to trade for yourself. So come and join us here. If you like this video, click the like button, and have a great weekend, and enjoy the football. And again, go Bucks, go Ohio State. Everybody have a great weekend. Bye-bye.